Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Guys, we have breaking news once again in the Chapman family, and I'm very sad to report this evening. We're learning heartbreaking news right now that is just tragic for Dog and his family. As many of you know, Dog has been public. He's gone through a lot of public struggles, including the loss of his first wife, Beth Chapman. According to news articles, Francie's son accidentally discharged a firearm, which led to the death of her grandson. This is again just very tragic information that is coming out of Florida. It doesn't sound like Dog or Francie were there when their grandson lost his life. This is just very tragic news. I feel bad because Dog only tries to help as many people as he can possibly help, and I feel like every single time we turn around, his family is met with some type of tragedy. It's just very heartbreaking. But once again, my thoughts, prayers, and condolences are with Francie as well as Dog the Bounty Hunter. So a different story is kind of coming out from Janie. Some of the stuff is similar, but what gives? I've been covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan since almost the day it started. We learned of it May 3rd, and that's when I started running stories about the 6-year-old and the 4-year-old that disappeared together. Many of us have been very, very concerned about the well-being of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, which disappeared from their trailer, which is located on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Canada. And I've got to tell you, Daniel's mom is really implying a lot in this current video. This is a little different than the one that I just released and the one I just released the other day. And the information is slightly different. I don't like that. And another revelation is even though the kids were seen on footage May 1st in New Glasgow, apparently they were never seen anywhere while they were in the mall. That's a little concerning, no? But I digress. Check this audio out and let me know your thoughts.
Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know. I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, you're getting home kind of late, aren't you? He said, I would have been home a lot earlier. Thursday morning, they didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the train. I heard the kids outside, and I opened up the door. Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, look, I found a worm, I found a centipede. I said, good boy. I said, you keep looking. Then I went out, I started raking up the yard here for leveling it out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the boards up on the fence, I continued with the fence. Then I came back in to get something to eat. I don't know what time the kids went inside or what time they went to bed or anything. And then Friday morning, I got up at 6 o'clock. I sat here and I played on Facebook. I sent a thing to my brother at 6:24. And then 7 o'clock, I went out and I did up the chickens, and I came back in. I sat here. I played on TeamU, which is the worst thing you can get addicted to. And then my brother called me at 8:48, talked for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. He asked me if I was going to town. I said no. I said I'm staying home. I'm going back to bed to have a sleep. I went back to bed. It wasn't long after that. I can't tell you how long. I laid there for a little while playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I heard the dog bark. The kids were outside. I heard the kids. And then after that, I didn't hear nothing. Everything just went completely silent. And I don't know how long after that, I heard Daniel yelling for the kids. I figured he was yelling at the kids to get inside, or Jack was letting my chickens out, which he usually does. He let them out a few times. So I figured Daniel was getting mad at him for that. See Malehya at the end of the driveway. Malehya was seen in front of my RV when I opened the door about 5 or 10 minutes after Daniel was hollering for the kids. I opened the door and Malehya was standing in front of my RV. And I asked her what was up. She said the kids are missing. I said, how long? She said 20 minutes. Yeah, I already answered this question. My brother called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town. I said no, I was going back to bed. So I laid back down. I was playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I'm not sure what exactly time. I didn't look at the clock. My dog woke me up. I heard the kids outside. And then I dozed back off again. And the next thing you know, I heard Daniel hollering Jack and Lily's name. Then about maybe 5-10 minutes after I heard him, I'm not sure exact what time because I didn't look at the clock. And when I opened the door, Malehya was standing there in front of the RV, and I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The kids are missing. The kids, Lilly and Jack, are gone." And I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I don't know what time I seen Malehya outside because I didn't look at the clock. I came in, I grabbed my boots, and headed up to the woods. Don't know what she'd gain by this. Honestly, I don't know. You'd have to ask her. But that girl, she would get up in the morning, take Jack and Lilly and the baby. She would drive Daniel to work. She would come back home, get the kids off to school, and then go back in and do what she had to do. She would go and take dinner. If she felt like she would take Daniel lunch. She would come back home in time to get the kids off the bus. Then she would go back in and get Daniel from work and then come back home. So she wasn't isolated. Whenever she wanted the car, Daniel gave her the car. Then she bought her own vehicle, and she had that since the 1st of April. If Malehya wanted to leave with those kids, she could have left with those kids. I would have stood up to her and said, "Daniel, let her go. If she wants to leave, let her go." Or if not, if I wasn't here, she could have called 911. I don't know what is behind Malehya's mind. I can't answer that question. I wished I could. I really wished I could. I wished I would have got up that morning and seen what was going on, but I didn't. I am so sorry I let these kids down. I should have got up. I should have went out, because I usually do when the kids are outside. I should have, honestly. I blame myself for not getting up that morning. If I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. It wouldn't have never happened. So I don't know what's going on in Malehya's mind. Honestly, I don't. I wished I do. I wish this would all end. I wish she would come clean, or at least talk to somebody out there and let them know. I really wish I knew your answer to your question.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. Happy Monday! I was gonna do another, video after that. I can't when it's portrait. I can't really put my me up here until after it's done. So I always try to run a landscape video after. But you guys have already been listening to videos for 13 minutes, so I saved you guys from seeing me, in front of Gabby Petita's house. Whatever. It's nice to see everybody here. As many of you know, we've got a lot of tragic news today. Before we get into it, I want to say good morning. It is Monday. Many of you guys are probably pulling your hair out, trying to get ready to head out, to get to work. And so we want to get you guys started, on a good note, and then we kind of suck all the happiness out of you. I know. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Show. I'm just saying, it just is what it is. We cover true crime. Nothing's really happy in our world. We have to make it happy in our world. We do have some good news, though. Some good news that I forgot to even put on the show's itinerary or overview. But in Pinellas County, there was a 2-year-old girl, Anaya Woods, that disappeared like 2 months ago. And she has been found, and she's been found safe. So I don't know the details to the case. I didn't really hear much about the actual kidnapping. And then to hear about this recovery, I shouldn't call it a recovery. Recovery implies deceased, but this, bringing her home. And there's no details on where the heck she's been for 2 months. Nothing. So we have no earthly idea. But, I digress. The good news is we've got one of our 2-year-old children's here in the state of Florida that was missing home safely. So, kudos to all law enforcement that was responsible for those efforts. And then, of course, we have the case that I'm showing you up here that we're going to get to in just a second. We're going to do a brief overview. I did not cover this case, but it is a sad case. So we're just going to do a brief overview of it. We're going to jump into any details that we can unearth on Dog the Bounty Hunter. As many of you guys know, we are Dog the Bounty Hunter friendly over here on this channel. I care very deeply for his family. And to hear such tragic news after hearing, a lot of tragic news over the years with the Chapman family, it's just very heartbreaking. And we just want to support the family the best that we can and let them know that we are here praying for them and praying for whatever they're going through. I would say, praying for, speedy, but there's nothing speedy. A 13-year-old boy, their grandchild is deceased. I have no words for that. We know how painful. We watch the pain of these cases every single day on this very show, and usually there's a criminal element to it. And this is one where there is no criminal element. It's just a sad story. It's something that happened. It does happen. Whether, no matter how safe you can be, things do just happen. Equipment can be faulty. We don't know the details. So I'm not going to rush to judgment on this. And I'm definitely going to give Dog and Francie and their family prayers and thoughts through this process. But we'll learn a little more about that. So right now we have a young girl, and we're going to get over to Devil and Tate just ever so slightly, just to advocate for Devil and Tate. We have Panda Bear's mom in the chat. She's been really advocating, working very hard to get Devil and Tate's case noticed and people's eyes on it. And we want to also help in those efforts of Panda Bear's mom. Eeyore Blue, it's nice to see you. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Let me get my why is I don't understand why there we go. Okay, I have to be able to move my mouse doesn't work too well on this little chat box, so I've got to be able to get it to move. Eeyore, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Our beautiful Sonia up in the house. Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. Skittles, it's nice to see you as well. Melanie reminding us, happy Monday. Betty, Delilah, Mods, and Chad, I hope everyone is doing well. Much love to you, Betty. Prayers for whoever needs it. Aw, that's so sweet. Joni, it's nice to see you. Good morning, my love. Bookworms up in the house. Donna, it's nice to see you. YouTuber, good morning. The Real Me Too. MJ, Lisa B. Always, it's nice to see you. Dawn, Denise, good morning. Phil, Marie, it's nice to see you. I picked down it closer to the bottom because it's where I came from, right? And I had to go all the way up so I could put, make sure I don't miss anybody. And I saw our beautiful Pete up in the chat. So I'll get to you, Pete, but good morning. It's nice to see you, love bug. Don, good morning. Where am I? I think I said hi to MJ. Good morning, MJ. Michelle, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Peggy, good morning. Maria, it's nice to see you. Phil, I think I said hi to you. VA is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Archaholic, Maria, good morning. Rebel Princess, Crystal Pistol, it's nice to have you. Good morning. Rita, good morning. Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have up in here? Unicorn Indiana, Pussy Willow Pendercat, it's nice to see you. Gypsy, good morning. I think we may, if I missed you, Narita, Karen, it's nice to see you. Faye, good morning. Sharon, good morning. No More Lies, it's nice to see you. Faye, good morning. Good morning. Heart, Faith, Mediumship, good morning. SJ, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. And Connie, oh, thank you. That was really sweet. God bless you. Alice Lynn, Beauty and More, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. And I just passed whoever was right behind you. So let me, Rebel Princess, because I think I said hi to you. Good morning, Pete. There you are. Good morning, Mary. It's nice to see you. Who else do we have? I think Missy Motormouth. It's nice to see you. Kaz, Rod. Good morning, Frank. Good morning. Maura Green, it's nice to see you from Canada. Hello, my love. I think I said hi to you, Maria, but I didn't. If it was a different one, good morning. Outer Banks is here. Adrian, it's nice to see you. Good morning, West Virginia Holla Girl. Betty, Connie's house sold. We cleaned it out this weekend. Bittersweet. Oh, yeah, I bet. Oh, dear gracious. If you guys don't know, many of you guys are new to this channel. Connie Branch, Karen, her sister, uses Connie's handle on our channel, and Connie was a very sweet lady that supported this channel with her presence every morning, was always interactive, always engaging. And then the calls stopped. And, sometimes it happens. We don't want to embarrass anybody or call anybody out and say, hey, why haven't you been over here on the channel in a while? But it was only like a day or two, I believe, after that. And Karen reached out to us and let us know her sister had passed away. And it was very hard for our channel. And it's been a little while. It's been a struggle for her sister, and her sister kind of ventured over here. Wasn't a true crime junkie, but ended up venturing over here because her sister loved this stuff and loved our channel, and she ended up coming over here, and she's been part of our family as well. So it's sweet. It's sweet. Yvonne, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Who else do we have here? Cindy, good morning. It's nice to see you. Unspoken Heart Stillness, it's nice to see you. Having my 77 today. Well, congratulations. Good morning, Libby. It's nice to see you. Oma, Carla, Kathleen, Sharon, Tracy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, Christine, it's nice to see you. If I missed some of you guys, I do apologize. Good morning. Welcome to Bullhorn Betty channel. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. And right now we're going to be covering a case of a little girl that lost her life and was reported. I didn't personally do the Amber Alert. I saw that Justin, I believe, did one. There was a few of our content creators that did an Amber Alert on this case. And it was an actual, what we were learning, it was an actual physical abduction by a third party unknown. And it's kind of interesting because we were just talking on the show, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, the statistics and the things that our schools don't teach us, the life preservers. Everybody should have life preservers no matter where you are. I'm sorry. They're just useful. And especially in hurricane seasons, nobody tells our news people don't tell you to go out to your boat and grab your life preservers and bring them inside. Why not? They should. It might save some people's lives. But they don't. So we have these things that aren't taught. And one of the other things was, we're taught stranger danger. I remember it was drilled into our heads when we were in school, when we were in elementary school and middle school, buddy system, stranger danger. But statistics, crazy as it is, statistics are absolutely the opposite of what we were being taught in school. We were being taught that the fear of the stranger, not the person we know. And I think for years, many people were being abused without even realizing it was considered abuse. So here we are. We have this Canadian family. It seems like they're having a trip to New York, and the child is abducted. It's a crazy story about how they went to a store and there was a van there, and somebody just jumped out of this van and snatched this child. Well, now we're learning that this child is deceased and has been found. And then the story has changed. Thank you for lifting for the lifted spirits for Connie. I can't read this morning. Sorry. She is truly missed. She was fun. She was the fun one in the family. She was coming to party. You knew that we were going to. Sorry, it just popped up on me. If she was coming to party, you knew that you were going to have fun. Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. And was that 77th a birthday? We'll sing you a happy birthday. Don't forget to remind me to sing a happy birthday to our birthday person. So we're going to get into this real quick. This is going to be a quick update. Many of you guys already know it. If you don't, the father's in jail. Okay, the father is in jail. Obviously, did not had a lot of statements that just didn't make sense. They still ran it as an abduction. The whole world knew that this child was missing, and then boom, they found her and arrested the father. Kind of how it went.
My police are now saying she may not have been abducted at all. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
Tonight, a tragic end to the search for a 9-year-old girl. Investigators finding her body in upstate New York.
So they did find her, and from what I hear, it's 40 miles or 40 minutes, something about 40. I didn't read the articles. I just giving you guys a brief update. We're going to be moving past this after like another 30 seconds.
Malehya Frattolin was first reported missing by her father, Luciano Frattolin, Saturday night just before 10 p.m. in Lake George, New York, a popular summer destination in the Adirondacks. Both are residents of Canada. Police issuing an Amber Alert asking the public for help.
The 9-year-old daughter was possibly abducted in a white van.
That should have been the first telltale sign, because you watch your child get abducted. I'm sorry, you're not going to be that calm. They are trained in the 911 dispatch to calm you down, okay? Because people in frantic situations, life or death situation, abductions, you are frantic. You don't know what you just witnessed. You are just in shock, okay? This man seems very cavalier, very calm for the situation just right off the bat. But that's easy for me to determine, right? We already know the outcome. We already know he's behind bars. But would I have had that same assessment if we heard this 911 call, prior to? I don't know, because that's not the case we have right now. Okay, we're listening to it after we know the results, so I can't unring that bell.
In a white van went south on the interstate.
But in a bizarre twist, authorities are now saying there's no indication of an abduction. Police saying as the case progressed, law enforcement identified inconsistencies in the father's account of events and the timeline he provided.
Do you guys hear that? I want to drill this in my audience head, and anybody, hey, I see you. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. But you guys understand, I don't care what these boneheads on social media or these defense attorneys try to drill in your head. Okay, I don't care. At the end of the day, inconsistent statements and timeline issues are critical. Okay, why do I tell you? I wonder if it's all premeditated. I know. Is it Angie? Angie? Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. Angie. It makes you wonder. I mean, they came to the States from Canada. It was just him and his daughter. Like, what could have possibly happened that without the premeditated aspect of it? I kind of have that vibe too. I haven't said it because we need a little more information, but the vibe, I'd have to say, yeah, it's there. Oh, Angie. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Angie. Duh. Sometimes it is a Monday for Betty too. Okay, it's a Monday for Betty too. Unicorn, happy birthday, Unicorn! It's nice to see you. Happy birthday! Don't forget, mods. Please remind me before I close out to sing happy birthday. We will be back this afternoon around 3:30 for our standing, Sebastian Rogers case. Okay, so we'll be back here at 3:30. If I do forget, we'll have to do it then, but I don't want to. I want to do it on this show because you both are here. So we're finding out that the inconsistent statements and timeline issues, these are critical. Why? Because these are the statements, these are the issues we have with our guilty parents, right? What kind of issues did we have in Summer Wells with the parents? Inconsistent statements and timeline issues. What problems did we have in the West case? Inconsistent statements and timeline issues. What did we have in Leilani's case? Inconsistent statements and timeline issues. What did we have in the Sebastian Rogers case when it comes to hashtag Chris Proudfish and hashtag Katie Proudfoot? Very simple. Inconsistent statements and timeline issues. So, we have these going on in these cases. And what do we also have in Lilly and Jack's case? We have all parties now making inconsistent statements, and we have all parties having a vague and a problematic timeline. So, you guys, the reason why I emphasize this is because I want you guys to be paying attention to this stuff, because these are critical and key red flags for me. These are things I look at. Does it mean that they are the ones that did a horrible crime? No, they're red flags. There's something to get your attention. Okay, there's something that you need to look at. Okay, is it foul on the play? I don't know, but it's definitely a red flag, and it's saying, hey, we need to stop and look into this. That's what it's telling me. We need to follow that lead wherever it goes. That's what it tells me. So we have timeline and inconsistent statements in this case with this young girl that's from Canada and her father's account of what happened. They're on vacation. It should be very simple. I mean, they're not doing the hustle and bustle of the day. They should know that they were here in the morning, they were here in the afternoon, and they were here by evening, and then build the timeline from there. But clearly, when people they think they're smarter than law enforcement, that's what we have problems with. That's what Chris and Katie's problems are. Why don't you guys believe us? Why don't you believe our horse crap that we're trying to shovel? Because we hear the same thing over and over again. Every single case is just a different face and different names. That's why. That's why. No, we don't believe you because we've heard this story before. And guess what? The first person that used this story was alive then too. So that's where that stuff comes from. And then never mind the statistics that tell us the majority of children that are hurt and or missing or dead, the majority of them, not the minority, the majority of them are people that they know, and usually either caregivers, parents, or some type of parental figure in their life. The majority. Okay? The majority. I want to keep written that in. The majority of the cases. Does that mean all cases? Of course not. But a healthy number of every case we cover, you bet your bottom dollar, it's somebody that child or victim knows. I don't make them up. I just state them.
After a multi-agency search that included New York State Police, canine, and aviation units, Malehya was located deceased in the town of Ticonderoga. Now, police say the investigation is ongoing, but that there is no threat to the public.
There is no threat to the public. Now comes the horrible tasks of motive. What was the motive? What was the motivation behind this? Was there a custody dispute? Did the father, was he an only father? Did he get sick and tired of taking care of his responsibilities and wanted to leave them, behind and start a new life, which typically is a lot of the motivation behind a lot of the cases that we cover. It is this, the parent is done. And that's kind of what I feel like could have potentially happened with Katie. So now we're kind of moving on to Dog the Bounty Hunter's case. Okay, I want people that want more information. I wanted to provide that to you because, in all fairness, we don't really know what happened. I'm so sick and tired of law enforcement inaction, lying, and talking crap. Well, that's one of the reasons why I got into this to begin with, Rod, is because, let me pause this. Well, we'll just play this while it's playing in the background. Those are the two involved right there. But I think one of the issues and one of the reasons why I went so gun-ho after Gabby Petito is because law enforcement misrepresentation of what truly happened. They would never acknowledge they made critical mistakes, and that pissed me off. And they went up there touting that they were in water up to their neck and how horrible these areas were. And while that is true, it's because of their tactical decision to put themselves in a swamp 45 minutes away from where Brian Laundrie's body was ultimately found. And so that really is one of the reasons why I was here, because I got sick and tired of it. And wouldn't you know that they perpetrated those same lies about law enforcement in the documentary that they did with Gabby Petito. Now, had they consulted with somebody boots on the ground, an independent source, they would have known that law enforcement made terrible tactical and logistical decisions and strategic decisions in the Brian Laundrie case, which cost us millions of dollars and weeks of searches, unnecessary searches. But they never want to tell you that story. They never, ever, ever want to tell you that story. And that's truly what happened. Now, we're going to go over to Dog the Bounty Hunter, because it's funny that we're bringing up the Gabby Petito case, because that's my first contact, my first formal contact with Dog the Bounty Hunter when I got into true crime. He ended up going to Cassie Laundrie's house to question her. He was highly involved in this case. He was trying to find out intel and trying to help law enforcement capture Brian Laundrie. And, that led us out to the DeSoto Park, all the way, where Brian's parents and everybody met and camped out, that day, where they were basically saying their goodbyes. In my opinion, the family got to have a private event where they got to say goodbye. And that is the nuts and bolts of what happened out at DeSoto. But either way, he ended up winding up on Cassie Laundrie's front door in an effort to question her about what happened. And I happened to be there. Remember that time? Do you guys remember the story I told you guys about peeing in a cup in my car? I was waiting for this interview, and I was so nervous. I knew that if I had left, let me take this off. Sorry, I want to take that off because it's lagging my screen. But if I had left, I knew that the person would show up and I would not get the interview. And I told you guys how I climbed in the back seat and how I did everything. Well, I peed in the cup, no spillage whatsoever. You guys remember that? Raise your hand if you guys remember that story of me telling you about this interview that I was scoping out this spot, and I was so nervous. I just knew if I left to go pee, I would miss it. I would miss the opportunity. Well, it was the dog interview. Okay. That is it. Now you guys know the truth. It was in 2021. He was out in front of Cassie Laundrie's house. I'm sitting there on the side of the road. I've got to pee. I know he's going to be showing up. I've already got the warnings that he's going to be showing up there. So I already know. And then sorry, I'm lagging. It's because of the post I've got up. But so I climb in there. I have a huge plastic cup, one of those from the grocery, not the groceries, the convenience stores. You know how they give you the big plastic cups or the styrofoam cups or whatever it might be. So I'm like, I got choices. We always have choices. So I, bashful Betty climbs in the back seat, and I decided to do business back there. I did great. No spillage, no nothing. So I climb in. Now, mind you, I can't find a cap to this damn freaking cup. So I'm ever so trying to open the window and pour the cup out, so gingerly. Everything executed perfectly until the bottom of the cup hit the window. Well, dog, there's a reason why I didn't ask to shake your hand. I'm just saying. Now the truth is out. Now let the truth be known. Let the truth be known. We let it all hang out here. Oh, thank you. No more lies. Aw. Panda Vermont, thank you for all you do. Please pray for Devlin. Absolutely. And Lisa always says everyone needs a Bullhorn Betty shirt or hat. Aw, thank you. Absolutely. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. So next time, use gallon Ziploc. You know what? When you're in a car and you're stuck and you gotta pee really bad, you kind of gotta go. I don't. How many of you guys ride around with gallon Ziploc bags in your vehicle? If you do, I'm going to think you are really weird. Do not raise your hand. Do not raise your hand. I would pee on myself. Listen, I was so happy with myself. You know, the brief moments, that brief moment where you're like, did I just do that? Hell yeah. I'm a pro. I'm a pro now, right? And then you roll the window down and you're like, just saying. And we kind of something like that. just to let you know. Just to let you know. In case you didn't. I heard a story yesterday. I was taking the magazine out of a pew and was giving it to my mother when she passed. I was unfamiliar with the gun, accidentally discharged. Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. It's so easy that's why I'm like, I wanted to get out here. I wanted to try to, get in front of the news that was breaking. It had just broken on TMZ. And, it's hard because dog is so polarized. And, his family's from here. And we deal with a lot of guns in Florida. Okay, we are a gun-toting state. And it doesn't matter whether the rest of the world agrees with our lifestyle or not. I mean, how would you feel if I come into your town and start telling you to live the way I live, right? You wouldn't like it too much. So just slow your roll with the whole pew-pew. I absolutely have been shooting guns since I was 7 years old, okay? I've never shot anybody. I've never drawn my weapon against anybody for any type of anger, frustration, or danger to my life. Was taught at a very young age to love and respect the firearm. Proper safety measures, proper cleaning instructions. You do have to take care. Now, it's unfortunate because when you're in the kids' home, you try to lock them up. And in the alternative, in my opinion, you should be teaching. And even if you don't want your children to ever be around a gun, okay, that is even more of the reason to teach your children proper safety of it. Okay, because you know what? At the end of the day, I know you guys think you're doing the best for your children, but what happens when they go to somebody's house when they're not in your care? You want to make sure that they know that that is not a toy, that if one of their friends picks it up, they make sure it's not pointed at them as a joke. I mean, there should be, if you are anti-firearm, that should be more of the reason you teach your children about them. Because the parent, we teach our children to shoot them. You should be teaching your children not to, right? But the idea of not discussing it, not talking about it, not showing them how it works, not showing to keep them out of it, I think is doing your cause a disservice, is my point, because again, they're going to be out of your sight and into somebody else's sight. Wouldn't you want them to know how to address a situation should a firearm be presented or in their view? It seems like a responsible next step. So I'm not criticizing the people that are anti-firearms. I respect everybody's. You have as much of an opinion as I do, and you have as much of a right to decide to have to be 2A or not, right? That's your personal preference, and everybody is entitled to it. I'm just giving you my opinion. If that is your personal preference, then you might want to up your game, is all I'm saying. Just a suggestion. Do as you wish. Your life is your life, and I have no control over it. I barely have control over my own, okay? I'm just saying. I'm right there with everybody else. So Dwayne Chapman appeared to confirm the news. He told celebrity gossip site via representative, "We are grieving as a family over the incomprehensible, tragic accident, and would ask for continued prayers as we grieve the loss of our beloved grandson, Anthony. Chapman, 73, is a former felon, biker, bail bondsman, and professional bounty hunter who rose to fame as the star of an A&E hit reality TV show, Dog Bounty Hunter, that many of us know, from 2004 to 2012, and the subsequent show Dog and Beth on the Hunt from 2013 to 2015, and then Dog's Most Wanted in 2019. So he married Francine in 2021, and that was around the time that I saw her for the first time, right after I peed in a cup and spilled it all over my hand trying to dump it. It was great. It was great. And it sounds like they both lost prior spouses to cancer. So they had kind of like trauma bonding and understood where each other were coming from. And I think that's probably what unites them very strongly as well, because Dog lost his wife through cancer, which is a horrible thing to take care of a loved one going through cancer. And many of you guys that are in my chat, I know you've taken care of somebody with cancer, and I know how incredibly difficult that was. So he did that, and also she as well. Her husband died in 2018, and they had a union, and they got married. And I have to think that it had a lot to do with the grief that they were going through and the strength that each other had and provided them, you know. And it's made this incredible union between Dog and Francie. And I understand that Beth's children and family weren't so receptive of it. And I can understand, you know, I've never been receptive of the lady that my father is with, and it's destroyed our relationship. Yeah, I pray to God we can get it back before the end of the days. But you know, having family problems over significant others destroy families. It doesn't mean that I have no qualms with Francie or anything like that. I think she's a wonderful lady, and I think she's going through a lot of horrible pain that both sides of this family have been plagued with, just utterly plagued with. So that's kind of where we are in that case. We don't have any other information about specifically, what happened. But all it says is it was an accidental discharge. We don't know to the extent of what that actual discharge looks like. Okay, let me get this off so we can get back to normal bandwidth. My screen. These articles, these news publications anymore. There you see how different I am right now? Look at that. Look how different that is. Those are the news publications. You guys want to know why I go to videos now? I'll play their videos on the show, is because to read an article, it jams up my system. These publications are struggling so bad that they have to gunk up all of their publications with all of these ridiculously advertisements just to be able to stay in business. It's sad, but I don't see how and I get what they're doing here. You have the choice of doing subscription based, right? Where the only way you can read the article is by a subscription. Well, people that are from Florida are not going to be paying, a publication in Washington State a fee to read their article, especially when you can just cut and paste the title into the Google search from the paid publication and get a litany of free publications you can read. So they're getting caught in this struggle of having paid memberships versus having to generate enough revenue from the advertisement aspect of it to generate because let's face it, in order to give the news, it takes money to provide the public the news. Okay, these people have brick and mortar businesses that have mortgage payments and like ABC affiliation payments and all types of stuff. But they have those affiliations because they get ad generation revenue and big people that want to run their advertisements on the ABC network or something to that effect. So long story short is these publications are now having to litter and gunk up. If they're going to make it available to everyone without a subscription, they've got to find a way to subsidize that revenue loss. And the only way they can do it is by filling up their literature with a bunch of digital ads. And what those digital ads do is they gunk up the system and lag down your show when they're running behind the scenes. So that's why if you guys see me lagging, why I try to get through those articles quickly and I don't really show you the articles anymore, it's because all the articles from these publications are just littered with advertisements that just lag the system. So I digress. So now that we know that this is an accident, there's still going to be a full investigation. This happened in the state of Florida. The state of Florida has very strict protocols and the type of investigation that has to be had. And unfortunately, there is a deceased child and a firearm discharge that is they're going to have. Even though it's a death investigation, it's basically a homicide investigation because they have to take forensics. They have to get their people in. They have to confirm that it's not a homicide being hidden by an accident. This is the state of Florida. We are very, very thorough in our policing and in our detective work. I'm absolutely confident that this will be found to be the accident that it is. But the reason why I'm educating you on the type of investigation that it is because, again, just trying to make sure you guys understand it, because I don't want somebody manipulating the truth or saying, "Oh my God, look at this. This is the way death investigations are ran in the state of Florida." Okay. And I just want to prepare people for that. So you're not being bamboozled by, some of the slimy people that are going to be using this as a way to hurt the family. And there's already disgusting people. I already had a couple of responses. I already had a couple of responses that I deleted because I'm a time and place person. And could there be blame? We don't know the situation. I get so frustrated. We don't know the situation. And in the situation and what happens is important. If it was an accidental, like, Outer Banks was just talking about, where she was actually unclipping the magazine. She was taking the magazine out of the gun. And when she did it, the gun, the one that was in the barrel, was inadvertently discharged. It hit the wall. But if somebody was walking at that very moment, guess what? That person would have been struck. Completely accidental. Did anybody do anything wrong? No. Sometimes your firearms break down. You have issues with the trigger. The trigger becomes a little loose, or very little pressure, because they're gauged to have a certain amount of pressure before you discharge that weapon. Sometimes those, by failing to properly clean it, many people don't realize the importance of cleaning your weapon and making sure that it's oiled and all this other stuff is important. But sometimes those mechanical parts can come loose or defective over time. So we don't know what type of situation it is, and it gets so frustrating that people are like, this is so preventable. Anything is preventable, okay? An automobile accident that killed an entire family is preventable. But it doesn't change the fact that it's an accident, So I just want to tone down the rhetoric when it comes to the family. This is a child. Those conversations can just wait, okay? They can just wait. We need more information. I would be the first person, despite my affiliation with, the lawsuit, dog, or anybody, if I feel like there's any nefariousness or something I'd be the first one to tell you. I just don't know, okay? There's no indication one way or another other than this was a tragic accident. So we'll see how this goes on. But this idea that people in Florida are not going to have firearms is crazy. We have wildlife here. We have panthers, bears, foxes. We have other dogs, domesticated dogs that want to take your head off. There's needs for the type of tool as a firearm just for normal, lively purposes, not even recreation. So I'm a 2A person. If you guys don't like it, if you can live with it, please stick around. If it's like a deal breaker for you, I respect your decision. Have a great day. God bless you. But we are 2A. We are, constitutional rights, constitutional rights show. Okay. So we protect your constitutional rights while protecting our constitutional rights. All right, guys, now we're done with that conversation. We're going to continue to pray for Dog, Francie, their entire family. We're going to pray that they heal. We're going to pray that somehow there's a silver lining in all of this. Somehow they can make sure their grandson, is honored for years and years to come. So now we're going to fly on over to a different country, Canada. We have several people in here from Canada, and we have several people from all over the world in here. We have people that pop in here from the UK, from Ireland, from Australia, from Africa. I have had Netherlands, Spain, Switzerland. We have a worldwide audience, not an enormous worldwide audience, but we do have a worldwide audience. Ireland here, you got another friend. We got another friend here. Who is it? Rod, I think, is from Ireland. No, Rod's from Australia. Who's from Ireland? I'll see your name in just a second. Thanks for putting your little kangaroo there. That helped. That helped. We got several people. I for whatever reason, SJ is from the UK. So Outer Banks. No, I think Outer Banks is from here. I know we always think she's from. There it is, Phil. Thank you. Good gracious, I knew it was one of you. Because I remember it's Phil. We got Phil, Rod, and Pete, and Phil, Rod, and Pete are all from different countries. In my opinion, after the COVID experiment and the lockdowns, special DV violence, well, we knew that was going to happen. And never mind how many kids disappeared during that. We don't even know the count. Some of those kids will never be heard or seen from again. They've never been reported missing, and we don't even know they're gone. Because it put these people right with their abusers. I mean, you guys don't understand. We look at our lives and we think that people live like that. Okay? And not everybody does. There are really, really, really horrible people out there that have children. And those children are subjected to all types of abuses. The parents literally don't care about their children, show their children no love. It would be perfectly fine whether they're there or whether they're not there, because they just don't even exist to them. And that's truly sad, because some of our children are just longing. You want to know why we have horrible, teenagers and adults? Some of these teenagers and children have never in a million years even felt 1 ounce of love in their entire life. I don't know about you, but that would kind of make me be kind of a rabid animal too, no? And you can't really show them love because they don't trust that love. All they know is to take advantage and get their own. Why? Because that's the way they were taught. They were taught to be savages. That was the environment that they grew up in. We're like, in America? Yeah. Go walk down a Detroit street. Tell me which crackhead you would want to be your mom or your dad. Please, by all means. Because those people out there on those streets, they got children. They got children being neglected, being abused, and God knows which ways. And we're all just sitting here, and we got our thumbs up our butt and don't even realize that those people that are out there on those streets got children sitting at home being abused, and nobody's there picking up the torch for them. The counties don't even know if they exist. So how can the counties oversee something they don't even know is there? It's a sad situation. All right. I digress. Let's move on. So now we're going to go over to Canada, Nova Scotia, Lansdowne Station. This is where Lilly Jack Sullivan disappeared. Very uncommon, statistically very uncommon for two siblings to disappear at the same time. Many of the family is trying to convince us these children just walked off, but they've never been found. One of the largest manhunts in that region's history, and they cannot locate the children. That already in and of itself implies foul play to me. I've looked at the property, I've looked at the forestry, I've listened to the statements. I am completely convinced that the children would not have walked back there. Okay? If they are back there, it's because they were placed there, in my opinion. Now, we've got a little bit of a situation here where Janie is now speaking up, and she spoke up several times. And I was very hopeful that the deception detective would run a show. I had hoped that he would have, found the article, found the statements, and start looking at them and analyzing them, because in my gut, I felt like she seemed the appearance, just follow me through my thought here. The appearance she was giving was that of truth. Okay. She was coming off as truthful, yet I was feeling very uncomfortable with her truth. And so I felt like there were certain things in here that implied that she's kind of, I don't want to say covering up for her son, because I think that really is the wrong terminology to use for it, because that implies her action, like her being involved. And I don't know if she's directly involved in anything with these kids. But I think, I don't know the word I'm trying to describe this situation, but I don't believe her statements. I believe she I guess covering up would be the most appropriate. Defending her son, protecting her son. Yeah, but I do believe she's also being deceptive. And that does kind of go toward the covering up as well. Because the deception detective, I highly respect. Not that he's 100% of the time. These are just his evaluations. These are just his assessments based on his training. It's more probable that it's most likely going to turn out this way. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, just like anybody else in anybody else's job, we can be spot on 100 million times, but that one time we may be wrong. So we don't know until we get to the end of the case how much of the information that we analyzed was analyzed correctly, because until you had a resolution, you don't know where you can go back and improve. That's why you should always, even when the case is closed, go back and find out what you got right, what you didn't get right. And when you didn't get something right, figure out what information you had wrong about that subject matter, and try to make sure that you correct it the next time, or be, cognizant that there's another variable that you may want to consider. And that's how I learn, and how I keep, doing better. Sounded scripted. There were a few things that she said religiously over and over again. Like, she was like with Malehya, she was standing there like almost verbatim every time she makes the statement about Malehya standing outside of her trailer. She almost has the words verbatim from interview to interview. I walk out, I say, "What's up?" She says, "The kids are missing." I said, "How long?" She says, "About 20 minutes. It's almost verbatim from story to story. However, now it's changing. The kids are missing to Lilly and Jack are missing. Those things, it seems complete. What does it matter type of thing? But it matters. Words matter. Words and how they were conveyed at the time that they were conveyed, whether Malehya was irritated or urgent or scared. Don't those initial assessments matter in a situation? Of course. If you got a mom saying 2 of her kids are gone, and she's kind of like got the baby on her hip, sipping the cup of coffee, yeah, the kids are missing. How long? About 20 minutes. that doesn't quite go with the situation. So those words, those actions, those moments, those things matter. And so I was listening to Janie, and I was getting this sense that she was being truthful about a lot, but there were things that I felt she was intentionally either leaving out or not discussing them, or providing an justification. I was going to say excuse, but justification. I felt overall the interview itself was for self-preservation purposes. Now, I'm not as educated as the deception detective. I don't have his education, his experiences. I don't know what certain things are called. He has the deck of cards. Go to your let's go grab our deception deck. I wasn't expecting to get up, and I've got these velvet shorts on. So they have a tendency of creeping in places. So I had to make sure you guys weren't seeing any cheeks when I got up. But that's what you get for Juicy Couture. I mean, I'm a Juicy Couture fanatic. So anything that has JC on it or Juicy, I buy it. And of course, they had these velvet shorts. They came 3 in a pack. It even has the little bedazzled Juicy Couture on the top, on the little elastic thing. And I got to tell you, they go straight up my butt. These shorts go straight up my butt. And they take everything up with it. I'm just saying, maybe cotton is really bad. I don't know about this velvet stuff. I think if the shorts were a little longer, they wouldn't ride up like they do. Cheeky Chops. Has Cheeky Chops in there? That would be crazy if Cheeky Chops did actually just pop in. Her butt is hungry. Oh, good gracious. Okay. So anyways, let's go to so I'm not into all of this stuff. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the technical term. All I can say is this doesn't sound right because of this. And I explain it different because I don't have all the education this man here has that he was able to design a 52 deck card. Okay. I'm not this clever. Okay. I'm not this clever. We still have a deception deck to get rid of. We got to figure out the reason why I've been holding off on it is because this right here is like $79. Okay. So this is going to be a really big gift for someone. So I want to make sure that whatever we're giving this away for, whatever the thing is, that it's something worth the prize. And I haven't so far come up with a contest that's worth an $80 prize. So I know it's coming around the corner. Pea cups and butt cheeks. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty show. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm telling you, when I got all the pee in the cup and didn't spill, I was yeah, baby. That split second of, oh yeah, I got this, and then came the doom and gloom. If the car manufacturers would just allow the back window to go all the way down, I'm just saying the issue wouldn't have happened, okay? It was because the back window doesn't go all the way down. It's like this far, you're right, And when you have a cup this big and you're trying to go out the window, you can't kind of sit it to the side. You need it. I'm dropping cards here. Anyways, yes. We're talking about panning cups and butt cheeks. Okay. Let's get this show back on the tracks. Let's get it back on the rails. Oh, good thing you don't wear thongs. Oh, I can't stand thongs. I don't know. I don't know. These velvet pants. They're giving the full coverage a run for their money. Okay, I'm just saying. Stay away from the velvet shorts. And if you do, Hopefully you're not so ish like me. I don't like things. Never mind. I'm going to stop right while I'm ahead. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. Okay. So anyways, he goes through this. I don't know what these things are called. Like he did one. I'll find it here. Temporda lacune. I can't even pronounce the words. Lacune. Temporal lacune. Okay. So these are the things, like, I don't know what now it says words such as after, then, while, when, and within X amount of time indicates a leap through time. Okay, because she's been very vague on her timeline. I just say the lady's been very vague on her timeline. The crafty deception detectives gives you the technical terms of what it means to be vague. Okay, and he even has a vagueness card too, but this is, when they're kind of jumping all around, like, I remember when I said, well, what happened from 7 to 8:48 when her brother called? But listen to this. I even found more oddities. I found more oddities that I didn't really analyze properly at the beginning. And here's what it is. So Jamie says, this is her words. We'll go back and we'll listen to this for verification purposes. But Jamie says something very, very interesting that did not catch my attention the first go around, the second go around, the third go around. As a matter of fact, it didn't even catch my attention until I saw it on the Deception Detective. And I don't know why, and I tell you guys this all the time, I don't know why whenever he's doing something, I see this clip, I don't pay any attention to a specific, somebody else will run something and something will just click in my head. And I don't know what that is. And I believe it's just hearing them talking about their case. Some things just, manifest in your head as you're listening to it. Well, this is one that was critical. And I don't know why I missed it. We know. Let's play this. Let's play the tape through. We don't know what time Daniel or Malehya got up. We don't even know if they went to bed the night before. Let's be honest. We don't know what they were doing. But we do know that at 6:18, someone called those children in as sick on Friday. Someone. We've learned that it was Malehya, potentially. I don't know if law enforcement has confirmed who called the report in, other than the mom reported the children missing. Does that mean she was the physical one that made that telephone call? I don't know. I don't want to make an assumption. But someone made a 911 call. That 911 call has never been released to the public. I hope that it is. But 6:18. Let's remember that. 6:18. Somebody was up in that house before that call was made. How do I know that? Because somebody doesn't wake up, roll over, pick up the phone, and call a school. Typically, someone gets up, opens their eyes, yawns, probably has to go pee first. I don't know how many people wake up in the morning and completely don't need to run to the bathroom. Maybe I'm just getting to that age. I don't know. But first thing in the morning, I got to do is I wake up, I stretch, I give my dog kisses, and the next thing I do, as soon as my feet hit that floor, I'm walking to the potty. So, who was up before that call was made? Were both of them up? We know Janie was. She woke up at 6 a.m. Here is the spot that I don't like. She is the one that initiated the conversation with her brother. Her brother didn't just call her at 8:48. Did you guys get that? She texted her brother at 6:20 something in the morning. I find that awfully interesting. that she is texting her brother within minutes of Malehya or whoever called the school and reported the kids sick. She may be more involved. This is where it starts getting a little tricky, and this is what I've learned. We're going to play a little bit of Deception Detective's comments at the end of his show. If you guys want to watch his entire show, please go over there. I'll drop his link here shortly, but there is some comments that he made right at the end that I wanted to show you guys. But I find this awfully interesting because a lot of activity was really going on at such an early morning. And one thing that the Deception Detective reminds us is there was a lot of weird activity going on the evening before the children went missing. And I find it very suspect because, I tell you guys, like, it's kind of funny that right there is where Malehya was standing with Meadow on her hip. Right there is the same spot that she's leveling the ground out to put a pool. And right there is the exact same spot where a lone shoe print was. How convenient to have such a nicely swept, so no footprints or anything are on the dirt road at all, because you were packing it down to put a pool up this year for the kids, don't you know? It seems a little too convenient. And then to find out, and this is what the deception, I think this is what made the light bulb on my head go off, because he says, why would she be out there at night? Sweeping, she had the pool right there in the box getting ready to set it up. I could see where somebody is out there at night in the dark trying to pack the area down for levelness. But I looked at their property. Their whole entire property looks level. They could have literally set up this pool anywhere. And to put it on a dirt road where there's rocks that could poke through the bottom of the pool, does that really make sense as the most convenient and best place to put a pool? A good question. What's under the chicken house? I don't know. But I feel like the grandmother, how convenient that she was the witness that says that they were awake and out there talking that morning before it just went silent. And her emotion at the end, we're going to watch that too, makes me feel like she knew something bad happened. It makes me feel like people were fighting at the house and she didn't go out because she didn't want to get involved in it. That's what it sounds like to me. And she keeps knowing she should have gone out there. If she just went out there to find out what happened, this wouldn't have happened. Because she kept saying, I blame myself. I should have went out there. I believe her. I believe she should have went out there. What I don't believe is what was really going on she should have been out there for. What I don't believe is that she doesn't know at this point what happened to those leakage. Yeah. What happened to those children. She's blaming it on Malehya, but was it Malehya? Did Malehya freak out and just unalive those children? The children were there. They didn't wander off. So she's implying Daniel was right behind them. So that's implying her son's involved. And she's not even realizing she's making all of these implications in those statements. But at the end of the day, something happened to these children. We don't know what it is that happened, but we know pulling it up to the panel. We got about 8 more seconds left. Giving me two commercials. They want to make sure you get the
connected in terms of
Spectrum
knowing what's
commercial
happening, and we all need a great connection to thrive.
And I'm not going to complain about CBC because they get like one commercial. You're not getting
this is what happened.
They're not getting all that. So they're not littering it down with a whole bunch of crap and stuff. Okay, So for Grandma, I don't believe her. There's a few things I don't believe her. Let's go back to, let's see where she's at. Okay, no,
right up to the top. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying. We've heard a lot about.
I don't want to get over to the glass doors. We know about the glass doors. They do make a noise. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, let's go right here. Okay.
Be here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids.
Okay.
You need level ground for.
Yeah, you don't just need level ground. You need to make sure something's not going to pierce the bottom of the pool. Okay? This is something I am very knowledgeable of. That right there, my friends, does not look like freshly packed ground, first and foremost. You can't even see the packing on it. But those rocks would make this not a great place to put a pool. Look at all of that debris. Look at the size of those rocks. That is not a good place for a pool. And she's saying she is packing this ground. Now, guys, I don't come from a lot of means, okay? When I was growing up, I had, it wasn't my means. It was my daddy's means. And I was spoiled rotten, okay? I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't come from a lot of means, okay? I can't afford to have a pool put in my backyard. But what I can afford to do is put a pop-up up there, right? When I had 3 young kids, this yard wasn't good enough. It is hot during the summer. When you got 3 babies that want to play in the pool, and that will you pop up a pool. And I can tell you right there, that would not be a place that I would have popped up a pool. I found a grassy area. I put the stuff down. We made sure it was level. But one thing we didn't do is stick the pool on a bunch of rocks and hard ground, because that right there, when a kid jumps in it or an adult jumps in it, will pierce the bottom of your pool and your pool will start leaking. I mean, think about it. The bottom of the construction of the bottom of your pool is made out of stuff that looks like tarp. It's not that it's durable for the water, but it can't handle the pressure of the water and huge rocks up underneath it without it piercing. Even if it does pierce right away, it's only a matter of time before it's pierced and you've got a leak in the bottom of your pool. So again, I wasn't looking at this from this aspect of it when we were running this case, but I'm looking at it from this aspect, and I want people out there that have above ground. Now, you got to understand, she's not getting the $1,200, fiberglass constructed pool. She's getting the $200 or $300 framed with the, the rubber insert. That's it. That's what she's getting. This is not conducive of that type of ground for that type of pool. Okay. Now, unless she's just getting a waiting tub, then you don't even need to pack the ground. So I don't know what this is not a good area. This would not be a place that I would put a pool. And so if you own an above ground pool, put a 1 in the chat box. And if you are a 1 in the chat box, let me know whether this would be a place you would have set up your pool at or not. You got any dum-dums left? No, I don't. I ate all my dum-dums. I ate them like it was going out of style, baby. Needed to get the dum-dums out of my life. Nope. Okay, so some people own above ground pools. This is not an area that they would. This is not an area I'd put a pool up in.
Kids, you need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up the pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators searching.
Let's listen to this. Okay, this is now Friday. We need to pay attention to what she's saying happened Friday, because I'm starting, because of the deception detectives. Let's go over to the deception detectives. I think I got the right spot. Did I get the right spot? Oh, I did move it. Okay. So let me stop here. Let's migrate over to the Deception Detective. We're at the end of his show here. Let me drop his link here. If you have not had an opportunity to watch his show, please go over there. He works hard. He has education that Bullhorn Betty doesn't have. We like having somebody like him on these streets that we can rely on and get his opinion from. So we want to make sure that he gets traffic and notification, notice of his work. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy, and he's got no dog in the fight. That's the kind of professional I want to listen to.
You're taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business.
One thing I can tell you is one thing that never came out of her mouth is avocation for these two children that disappeared from her home. That's the one thing I can say. Oh, here he is. Meet the Deception Detective. I don't know if we should call him Mr. Deception or Mr. Detective, but here he is.
To your kids last night. So in the morning, you want to call the police and report them missing, but you also want to be able to prove to the police that the kids were there in the morning and that they just ran away.
That is the one thing. Let me go back up just a little bit. I want you to hear that whole conversation from him. That's the only clip we're going to borrow from Deception Detective. It's just that clip. Again, if you guys would like to watch his show in its totality, please go over here. I'm dropping the link again. I did tell you guys last night that we would be covering this, to please go watch it last night, so you guys would all know what we were going to be discussing and have an understanding of what was said, so we didn't have to play his entire show. So here's the point that I want you guys to hear.
A hermit.
Imagine you did something terrible to your kids last night. So in the morning, you want to call the police and report them missing, but you also want to be able to prove to the police that the kids were there in the morning and that they just ran away. If you're not a very good liar, you might think to yourself, hey, my mom has been leveling the ground by the house to make a pool. What if I go put the footprint there so it shows up really well, and I'll just have her say that she was raking it last night? That way it'll be really obvious that the footprint must have been made in the morning because she was...
That's really the extent of what I want the Deception Detective for this morning. And that kind of really just brings us to full circle about where I feel this case is, because there's just too many coincidences, too many convenient coincidences. Just like he said about the footprint. If you guys recall, even though I didn't look at it and say it so eloquently like the Deception Detective did, but what I did say was it seems awfully funny that a lot of stuff is going on right in that one spot where that boot was found. You see the difference? You see the difference? Like, I don't know. All I know is that there's something odd with that whole situation. Then we come over to the Deception Detective, and he puts that stuff together and gives it a word. I give it a description. He gives it a word, right? So now it's starting to look more staged. Now when we're looking at this case, we're starting to see this staging kind of formulate. And we felt there was some staging with the boot print. And it's like, we've heard, and we understand Janie. We understand Janie's predicament. I don't think she wants anything to happen to these kids, but I absolutely think she knows more. Even in that intro video that we had coming in, where she's talking about Malehya not, being able to leave anytime she wanted to, that she would get up there and stick up for Malehya and make sure that she could leave and tell her son. That tells me right there that there's violence in that house, that mother's aware of the fights and the control issues going on in that house, where she's willing to stand up to her own son. And some people are trying to say, well, it's showing that she could have left any time. And it does show that. It does show Malehya has her own car, could have loaded those kids up in her own car and packed up her stuff and drove off while Daniel was at work, and nobody would have been the wiser, nor could anybody have stopped her. But it was the way she told the statement that lets me know that his mother knows how controlling he is. Now, I'm sure Deception Detective will have a card for that. I have a feeling for that. That's it. That's it. We work differently. But as long as the result, the ending result's the same and it's the right result, then, it doesn't matter how you kind of get there. I'd like to have more professional words to use for these feelings. And that's why I purchased the Deception Detective deck, the Deception deck, because it gives us things like leakage and things like assessing motivations and assessing stories and past tense and the use and the number 3 and all the other things like words like I suppose, and tries to really educate us so we can use the same terminology, which is really good. But I still like the average Joe. I feel like I resonate with an average Joe perspective, right? I'm not calling you dumbasses, okay? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just joking. I love you guys. I love you guys. But we all have to work with what we've got, and we all have to lean on those that are a little bit smarter, have a little different education than we. We like Peter Hyatt. Peter Hyatt, as many of you know, has lost his life. I still pray for his family. And pray that they, and I hope his work is honored. He was well known, world known. Peter Hyatt was, and we have the Deception Detective and other, linguistic type people, as well as body language experts on this platform that we can consult. We don't have the ability to directly consult it with them, but we get our consultation when they pick up a case that we're covering, right? If we can't get their attention on a case, then we're kind of screwed, right? They're not going to cover a case that doesn't have the attention that warrants their kind of expertise. So this is a case that has lifted to that level where it warrants the Deception Detectives look under the hood. And he's saying, look, the whole family, just from my perspective, I don't want to put words into the Mr. Detective's mouth, but it sounds like there's deception all around. There's deception with Janie indicated. There's deception with Daniel Martell indicated. There's deception with the limited statements that we've received from Malehya, deception indicated. So this tells me something happened at that house. Having this information starts making me visualize a little bit better. So now I know that it's possible that something happened. There was either a fight in the morning or a fight that evening that resulted in the loss of life of 2 children. I'm not sure what. Could that fight have been over substances? Could the kids have gotten into substances and that's what it was? I don't know. But it sounds like something, I really believe around 6 o'clock in the morning, something happened in that house, because you got Malehya calling the kids in for school. You got Janie on the phone texting her brother, all in just a few minutes of one another, right around that 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:30 time frame. Lots of activity from everybody in the house that were supposed to not be being this active. And that's where I really believe something happened, was in that 6 a.m. time frame, folks. I don't think, I do have a theory that says something happened after they were seen in New Glasgow. But now this new developing information from the grandmother saying, let's go back to that. The grandmother saying that she texted her brother for something at 6:24, but her brother didn't call her back until 8:48, and he wanted to know if she would go into town. So what was the purpose of her actually texting him then at that ridiculous time of the morning? It doesn't even sound like her brother was up. It doesn't sound like her brother even got up until 8:48 when he returned her phone call. So it sounds to me like something happened in that 6. We heard that somebody saw Malehya on the outside of her house at 6:15. We got the call coming into the school at 6:18, and we've got Janie texting her brother, of all people, at 6:24 in the morning. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. For all those that have participated in this, well, I'm hopeful maybe this afternoon we'll be able to go ahead and get a shirt or a hat sent off to a lucky recipient. Panda Bear's mom just won a keychain, so congratulations to Panda Bear's mom. This one's going to be a little bit different. This is a hat or a shirt. So let me know. We'll try to get this wrapped up this afternoon at 3:30, and hopefully one lucky coffee cup family member may be the new owner to a Bullhorn Betty hat or shirt. So that'll be fun. So I want to thank everybody: Melanie, Connie, Karen, No More Lies, Lisa B. Always, Outer Banks. Oh, we even have a new member. Panda Bear's mom. Did I say thank you to you as well? We have a new member, Paula. Paula, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insanity asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. And Outer Banks reminding us about her experience. Thanks for sharing that experience. And it's very important to share those experiences, not to be judged. Oh, thank you. Don't forget the birthday. Whose birthdays are it? I know it's Unicorn. Who was the other birthday? Thank you for reminding me. But this is how we learn things. It's from other people's experiences, because if we don't have our own experiences and we're assuming something, right? We could be assuming wrong. And a lot of people, you have to sing yes, but we'll take the poll in just a second. But whose birthday was it? I've got Unicorn, but there was another that started with an A. Is it Alice? Is it Alice or Elise? Elise? Let me go up. Let me just go up and see if I can find the name. Once I see the name, I'll remember it, but I've got to find it first. But it was different. I remember that. I'm not seeing it. I can't believe I messed up Angie's name. It's like when she said it. I can't find the poll. Oh, no. It was Unspoken. All right. Well, all right. Let me try to go back and find out whose birthday it was. Let me see if I can search. Can somebody search and see? Okay. So the poll was, do you think Janie is covering for Daniel and Malehya? We're ending the poll right now. The poll is 81%. I think that was the highest poll we've had here in a while. 81% says yes, they do believe Janie is exhibiting the behaviors that appear to be covering for Daniel and Malehya. Let me find the gal's name. It started with an A. I remember that. At least I think it started with an A. I don't see the person writing anywhere in here. If it is your birthday, write I. Say me. Write me. M-E. In the chat room. If it's your birthday today, write M-E in the chat room. So I make sure I got all my birthdays. I'll give you guys like a minute to let me know whose birthdays it is. Unspoken something. Yes, Unspoken. Okay. Maybe I got the name wrong. Unspoken some. Okay. Okay, guys, let's sing Unspoken as well as Unicorn. I heard it's Unicorn's birthday as well. Trolls are up 3%. Okay, before. Anytime we can have a troll party, we'll take it.
Sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot, turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, whack a troll, let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick, whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
Does anybody else sing along with that song? I'm back here singing. Oh, I love it. I love it too. All right. So did we figure out whose birthday it was? It's Unicorn and Unspoken. Hopefully they're here. Sorry I had to wait until I was done. I didn't want to stop right in the middle of it. And I do apologize. We usually sometimes do. Unspoken Heart Stillness. There it is. Mine is 8th of July. Okay. So let's sing happy birthday to Unicorn And let me pull this up so I can make sure I get it the pronunciation, the name right. Hold on, where was it? I know somebody just told me the name. Shit. Excuse my language. Somebody owes me $2. It's not my fault. I cuss. Sure's. Okay, unspoken heart stillness. Let me write that down. We'll call her unspoken, because that's about as much as I think that's going to be too long for. We got unicorn as well. Okay, ready? Let's say it. Happy birthday to you, cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you, cha cha cha. Happy birthday to unicorn and unspoken. Happy birthday to you. I was a little loud on that one. One day we'll have a birthday song. I say, happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you beautiful people. Okay, I'm gonna stop. My debut track will be out this Friday. Everybody get your copy, okay? It's going to be $19.99 for that beautiful single. Thank you. I hear horrible singing is making a comeback. Maybe we need to go grunge next time. Happy birthday to you! Yeah! Yeah, yeah! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
The lie detector test determines you are a liar.
That was my hard drive falling on my liar button. I guess the hard drive knew a little bit better than hard-headed Betty. I'm just saying, we can have some fun over here. All right, I'm done with this show. You guys get the heck out of here. This is how I feel about all y'all. I love you so much. All right, guys, we're out of here. You guys make it a great day. Happy Monday. We will see you soon. Wednesday, our 3:30 show on Wednesday will be canceled this week. It will be canceled, but don't worry. We're substituting it with a Friday show with some very sweet guests. We're going to be talking about the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case in depth. We're taking a new perspective for the Bullhorn Betty channel. So I hope all of you guys are here this Friday, 8 p.m. for this amazing live show. All right, guys, see you at 3:30 today. Be there or be square. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.